Hello and welcome. I see a lot of faces. So I have good news and bad news. The good news is you will learn a lot about the chances to come over to Germany and work as a fully registered nurse in Germany. The bad news, it will be in English. So if you have questions, don't hesitate to ask. My Spanish is a catastrophe, but we will get along even if you ask in Spanish. Thank you very much for coming and for your interest. We will explain a little bit about how easy and difficult at the same time it is to come over to Germany and to work in Germany as a nurse. And I'm not going to talk all the time, so please, if there is anything not clear, anything you want to know, just go ahead and ask so that we can have a little discussion about all your ideas and questions and whatever you want to know. We will start on telling you a little bit about us and why we are doing it, and then talk about the German healthcare system, because there are some differences, and the most important part, then talk about the process, how to become a fully registered nurse with an unlimited working contract in an acute care hospital in Germany. Okay? Okay, so first of all, why are we doing it? In Germany there are not enough nurses, and the reason for that is basically 25 years old. There were not enough babies at that time, and therefore there are not enough young people right now who are able and willing to work. That's not only a problem for nurses. This affects many professions, but especially nurses, and we are here to talk about the job opportunities for nurses. We started doing that about 10 years ago, based in Frankfurt, and so far we brought, and actually this is from last year, more than 1,400 nurses already to Germany. And what is very important for us, we not only brought them to Germany, but they work as fully registered nurse, not as technicals, assistant nurse, whatever, as fully registered nurses in acute care hospitals. We are in many countries all over the world, from Latin America to Africa. We are in Namibia and South Africa, for example, in Southeast Asia, in Vietnam, Malaysia, Thailand, so many countries throughout the world, and everywhere it is the same. We have excellent nurses, qualified, studied, with some experience or not so much experience, who are looking for an adventure, who are looking for a professional development opportunity where they can spend at least some years in a good healthcare system, where they can learn more, develop their career, start maybe their specialization with an unlimited contract and a decent salary. So no financial needs, no sorrows about the salary coming in at the end of the month. In Germany it is at the day and not a second later where you found the money on your account. It is by law, so nobody dares to pay the salary one day later. For us it's always the same. We go and talk to the best universities in the country, and that's why we are very happy to be here at the University of Guadalajara, and we are speaking to you, and we are talking about the job opportunities, and then for some, it is an interesting concept, and then they contact us, and then we talk about the next steps. We will come to that later. So again, what is important for us is that you will have a good job opportunity and a solid career path in Germany. If that is not the case, you will not be happy and you will complain or come back, whatever. So our goal is to find a good career opportunity for you. A career opportunity that fits your interests. So if you are into working with elderly, you will not work with children, vice versa. We started in 2019 to offer also the program and the opportunity for nurses from Mexico, and so far we have the first 70 nurses who do work in Germany, some are still in the process of getting their title acknowledged, and others have already their title as a nurse, and they work in acute care hospitals, in big hospitals, in their specialty they're interested in. And we also started, and it's maybe not interesting for you, just to let you know, we also started our own nursing school in Germany, so we can also offer a program for those who have not yet studied, who haven't got their degree, to give them a chance to do the nursing school in Germany. It is a little different because in Germany you will be employed from day one, and you will have, during your education already, a salary from day one. So this is an interesting program, and the first nursing students started 2 months ago in Frankfurt. They come from 8 different countries, from 5 different continents. So it's a very international class, and we will keep you posted about their ideas and the progress of the program. This is a picture just to show you from the first group who came to Frankfurt. That's actually at the Frankfurt airport when they just landed. They look a little tired, but they brought the flag, very important, to show we are in Germany, we are Mexicans. And they're very happy, and they started to work 18 months ago? Yeah. About 18 months ago, and happily found their way and new friends. And I think a good path for their career. Just a little bit about the German healthcare system. It is a little different. We have only one system. So there is no private, no Seguridad Social, no EMS. It's only one public system. So everybody who works in Germany is in the same system. Would mean the same for you. As soon as you start to work, you are eligible for the same health benefits as every other person who lives and works in Germany. And the level of the treatments and the treatment options the level is high. So everybody can get first-class treatment, and there are no waiting lists, so you can just go there, and depending on the urgency, that's for sure, they will treat you right away. So that's good. We have about 2,000 hospitals, so it's a pretty large number of hospitals in Germany. And in those hospitals, we have about 300,000 nurses working there and about 150,000 doctors. But they also work in private practice. That's also a big difference. So the primary care is not done by nurses. Nurses do work in hospitals, when patients need hospitalization. So the primary care, when you have a small, like a cold or not feeling well, you would go to see a doctor in private practice, and they don't work with nurses. They have doctor's assistant, it's a different education. So nurses will not work in primary care, they will work in hospitals, and there is another option, because the worst place for patients to be is exactly because you can get your nosocomial infections. So the first idea is to keep them out of the hospital. And that's why we have what we call a home care service system, and it's within the public system, and that's where nurses go to see the patients at home. And then not just one patient, but then maybe 6, 7, 8 patients per day, and help them with their needs so that you can prevent hospitalization. That's a second option for nurses to work. And there is a third option, for example, in rehabilitation, hospitals. That's an old German development where you can, after surgery, for example, if you get a hip replacement, to bring you up to form, to bring you up to speed quicker, you would go to a rehab hospital where you stay for 3 weeks, and you get a lot of training and special attention, and you would go there on day 5 after your hip replacement, pretty early, so that patients are still ill. Yeah, they still need medical attention, nursing attention, and that's the third option for nurses to work. Acute care hospital, most of the nurses work there. Home care, and the third one would be in rehabilitation clinics. So another big difference between Germany and Mexico is not enough babies. So it's an aging society. Small number of young people, large number of elderly people. And that's another area, for example, that it's different. In Mexican hospitals, you have a lot of patients in obstetrics and neonatology, and not so many in Germany, not so many babies. But then there is a focus on cardiology, internal medicine, nephrology, and also geriatrics, where there is a developing specialty how to take care of elderly people, how to make their life easy and healthy. So that would be a service in a hospital, among others also in geriatrics. And as I said, an increasing lack of nurses, and this will continue, and it's predictable because we have many nurses who are going to retire in the next 5 to 10 years. So there are many job opportunities for nurses who want to spend some time of their life in a German hospital. So this is where I'm going to explain a lot. This is the key chart for today. This is the process how to become a nurse in Germany. In principle, it is easy. There's only one thing. You need to speak German, because all the patients in Germany and all your colleagues, they will speak to you in German. Not in Spanish, not in Japanese, not in Turkish, and especially not in English, in German. And therefore, you need to learn German. That is new. I suppose not many of you are fluent in German. Normally nobody is, and therefore that's what we do. We organize language classes to bring you up to speed in German. And those language classes are intense. It's a full-time occupation. So we will take you out from the rest of your life and bring you within 7 months, 6 to 7 months, including the final test, up to speed, up to language level B2. During that period, during that language class, you will do nothing except learning German. Sleeping in German, eating German, dreaming German, take a shower in German. Everything will be German. No work in parallel and no studies in parallel. That's very important. You need to focus. It is difficult and it's intense, but we know, because we've done it hundreds of times, we know that if you follow the classes from day one, and not in the sense like, the big exam is in 6 weeks, I will start to study in 5 weeks, will not help. You will have to study from day one and continuously repeat, because there will be something new every day. But if you do so, you will pass. So the 3 rules for the language class, that's my mantra. You have to be there every class. It's not like, today the sun is out, I take a day off. It doesn't work, because there will be something new every day, and it is very hard to keep up if you do not follow the classes. Second rule, no work and no study in parallel. Only German, nothing else. And the third rule is, you have to pass the language level B2. No language level B2, no work in Germany. It's not because we are mean, those are the rules from the government, and actually it makes sense, because speaking to your colleagues, speaking to the patients without a solid base in German, not good, not easy. So, to make that easier for you, we organize everything. So you don't have to take care of the visa, of the acknowledgement of your title. We will find an apartment for you. We will find a job for you. We will organize a bank account, a mobile phone, set up everything, except learning German. I do know German, so that's up to you. You would have to learn German. And to make it easier for you, and then to keep your back free, we even pay you a scholarship during that period of time, so you don't need to work, you will have enough money to survive. So that's also just a very important information. We don't want your money. So the language class is for free. We pay even for the flight to Germany, for the translations. We even pay a scholarship, so you don't need to bring money, but you need to bring your brain to learn German. So once you have the language exam, you pass B2, one step younger, because before. During the language class, we will bring you in contact with German hospitals, and you will have an interview. The interview will be in German, because they speak German, and they also want to see how your German is. So the interview typically will not be in the beginning of the language class, but during the language class, after 4 months maybe. And then you will see, maybe due to the pandemic only on the screen, see the responsible from the hospital and talk to them, and they will talk to you. And then you can see whether it is a fit or not. Once you agree, both sides agree that it's a good fit, then there will be a working contract, etc. There is one important information, and maybe you understood it already. You will not know before you start the language class in which city you will end up. We don't know. So this is during the process, you will meet the hospitals, and then you will know in which city you are. So if you have an idea, I want to go to Mönchengladbach or whatever place in Germany, then we are not the right program to help you, because we cannot promise that you will be in one city, but we will promise you that you will have a good job in an acute care hospital with a good also service and attention so that you will not be alone. That's also very important. No Mexican nurse will be alone in a hospital. We will always bring you in groups so that you have some friends where you can, after work, not during work, speak some Spanish and prepare some typical Mexican food, because the German food is different, although we have a lot of Mexican restaurants, so there are many options also to have Mexican food. So, phase one, you learned how to speak German, the German is almost fluent, you passed the language exam, then we will bring you to Germany. You will have the visa, that's all done before, all your papers are done, and then maybe Aeromexico, but maybe also Lufthansa, you will sit in the plane and fly over to Germany, and then we will pick you up at the airport, bring you to your apartment, that's all arranged, it's fully set up, so there's food and there's a bed and everything you need. And then you will start, after some days for preparation, you will start to work in the hospital. And you will start to work as an assistant nurse because your title will not be acknowledged from day one. There is a period of acknowledgement of recognition of your title. And this period, that's phase 2, can go between 3 to 9 months. During that period, you will work as an assistant nurse, basically doing what a nurse does, but never alone. You will always be under supervision of a registered nurse from Germany, so no fear that they will send you alone in the night shift and you don't know anything. No, this is not allowed. And during that time, you will learn about the German healthcare system, special vocabulary you need to know about how things are called, how people speak in a German hospital. And you will also get paid as an assistant nurse, which is actually quite a lot of amount of money. It's about 2,600 euros per month gross income, and that's a lot. Actually, it's by far enough to survive. So there, even during that phase, there will be no financial sorrows. So no need to worry about the money. The goal of that phase is to get your title acknowledged. And there is a mutual interest between you want your title acknowledged, and the hospital, because they need you as a registered nurse. In Germany, there's a law that you have to have a certain number of nurses to run a hospital. And that's on a ward level. If you do not have enough nurses, you have to shut the ward down. And that's not attractive for the hospital. So they have a big interest in you getting your title quickly. You have the same interest. So it's a good idea to study during that phase 2 all the specialty of the German data protection law, how to document in a German healthcare system, data system in the computer, the patient information, and all the specialties about the care in Germany. So that you can pass, and that's after phase 2, the exam to get your title fully acknowledged. And once you have that, then you're cool for the rest of your life. You will have the opportunity to work either in Mexico or in Germany as a fully registered nurse. So this one is for the rest of your life. And then there is no big change. You will then continue to work in the hospital, but as a fully registered nurse. The salary will be even higher, about 3,200 euro per month gross income. And then the employer, that's by law in Germany, deducts your social service like healthcare insurance, the pension fund, and so you will, and the taxes, so you will receive about 2,200 euros net income, money to spend for whatever you need to buy new shoes, handbags, mobile phones, whatever. From day one, you will put money into the German pension fund. That means that once you retire, and that could be in Germany or in Mexico or wherever, you will get money out of the German pension fund, and you can use that money in Mexico, in wherever you want to. So this money is put away, but it will come back to you once you are retired. And it's actually a good retirement plan. So you don't need to do anything in phase 1 except learning German, pass the B2 exam, and then start to work as a nurse in Germany. We will support you with everything. So every question you ask about Germany, about the traffic, the weather, whatever you want to know, we are there to answer and to help. And sometimes once you started to work, there are some things that are not clear. Contact us, we will help you, and we will explain what it is all about. So you will not be alone during the whole process. And at the end, the hospital paid for your education, because that's, at the end they pay for it. And so what they ask you to do is, and that's phase 3, please stay for a minimum of 2 years, because we invested a lot of money in your education and we would love to have you here, but it's a minimum amount of time. So you will have an unlimited contract. So it's up to you to decide whether you want to stay or you want to go elsewhere, come back, do whatever you want to do. So this was a lot of information, and I'm sure you have many questions. So please go ahead and ask. The scholarship will be 300 euros per month.
What happens if I pass the B2 exam?
Will you charge?
We don't. Okay, so we will pay for your first exam. So if you decide, because the beaches of Veracruz are better than the language class, not to pass the exam, which is not a good idea, then you can repeat it, but it's a better idea to pass it in the first time, because an extra exam is costs you money, and if you decide then, for example, because you said, oh, it's so difficult now, I failed twice, I don't want to do it again, and say, you know what, I'm not coming. Then we would charge you the money for the language class and the scholarship in that situation. So if you want to drop out, so that's important. So please think first about if you are willing to go through the process, and then we will support you. But if you decide after 3 months, German is not good, I don't want to do it, then we will charge you for the language class and the scholarship.
También puede ser en español. Si tienen preguntas, en español. Preguntas.
Disculpe, con la pandemia, alcalde, condiciones, ¿cómo fue que se incorporó Alemania? ¿Cómo fue que lo manejó? A diferencia de mi esposa, que puede decir, este fue el sistema que se implementó para proteger a los enfermeros.
Okay.
Okay. So there are actually, I would say, excellent. So those patients who have a COVID infection, they get separated in the specialized COVID wards where you get all your protection. That's maybe an important also information. There is no shortage in materials in Germany. So there is always enough protection material for the nurses and for the doctors as well. So there is no shortage in materials. Every nurse, so everybody can be vaccinated. It is until today not yet mandatory, but it will become mandatory also in Germany, because maybe you followed the numbers in Germany are getting up. So we have a fourth wave in COVID, and that is due to a lack in immunization. Not enough people get their shots. This is something that is going to change. It will not affect you, because once you are in Germany, there is no more acute COVID wave situation.
When you start to give us a course, I have a question about how many hours it's gonna be for day, or or it would be since Monday to Friday, or just the weekends, or the period. I mean the hours.
Yeah, it's 160 hours per week, because this is the number of hours per week. But that's not the class. No, sorry, I'm just kidding. But it's important. It's a full-time occupation, and the classes are not 24/7, because then we don't have enough teachers, and you need some sleep. But the classes are 5 days out of 7, and 6 to 7 hours per day, and then there is homework and rehearsal. So it's like a full-time job, and it's even more than a full-time job, because you need to repeat and to rehearse and to work and to continue. So don't plan for other things during that period. We have to, no, I cannot answer it like right away without having seen like the details of your education in your CV. But basically, to say we do not need years of experience to start the program. So this is also eligible for nurses who just finished, who just graduated, who just got their title. So that is maybe an important information.
I have a question. Can I apply to the program like at any point of my career?
At any point, once you finished your title, yes. There will be classes, not always, but on a repeated basis. So there will be maybe 2 or 3 classes per year.
When do you start the program?
So the next class actually starts in 3 weeks, December 9th.
Do you have more start date?
There will be more classes to start. So feel free just, when we will give you the information later on, feel free and just apply and we will talk. And then there is a little field to be filled out when you are available, because some might finish their title or the specialization next year. So we will find a good option.
It is part of the program that they are going to teach us the medical words. Part of the program that they're...
Maybe I don't understand. You mean the vocabulary?
Vocabulary?
Sorry. The German government demands language level B2, and that's general language. So that's not specialized language spoken in the hospital. But it is not enough. So you need to get the medical vocabulary, especially like the little terms you use as nurses as you speak to the doctors or work together. And therefore there is a special program, and you will have an application, an app on your smartphone. Once you finish the language level B2 for 6 months to get all the training needed for this special vocabulary.
I have two questions. The first one is about the schedule of the classes. Is in the morning or afternoon or evening?
All day. So the language class is all day.
How much time do you have to take a decision if you can accept it?
20 years maybe? No, there is no hurry. Again, think that it's important, it's very important that you think that through, and we will not rush you into any kind of decision, because it is important to think about it and to really want to do it. Again, we are talking about a minimum of 3 years of your lifetime. So you shouldn't just easily say, oh, let's do it. Talk to your families, talk to your friends, talk to the most significant others that are in contact with you, whether that is a good idea. And again, this program will last for many years. So whenever you feel ready, contact us.
So it's continued as part of the program. Like every month, approximately, or?
Maybe every 6 months we will start new classes. Maybe even every 4 months. That depends also a little bit on how many language teachers are available and where to set up good classes. One thing I forgot to tell you is the setup of the language class. We will start, and that's again due to the pandemic, we will start with online classes. But the idea is to switch it into a class in presence. But we don't know exactly when this will happen. And then that might also mean, but we will inform you upfront, that you would need to move to another city. It could be, for example, Mexico City, but also could also be Guadalajara. It depends a little bit on the availability of language teachers. We will talk about it. The next class will definitely start online. So the question is about the acceptance of people from other countries to work in German hospitals. The hospitals we work together with are huge hospitals. They have 1,000 to 5,000, the biggest 15,000 employees. So this big hospitals. And in those big hospitals, there are so many people from different countries that there is no problem at all. They are absolutely used to have nurses from all over the world, from Southeast Asia, from South Africa, Sub-Saharan Africa. They look differently, they speak differently, they eat different food. We do not bring you into small hospitals on the countryside where you would be the first foreigner in the hospital. We will not do that. More questions, please, go ahead. In Spanish, Turkish, whatever.
For example, if I have already finished my degree but I haven't got the title, or do you need mandatory the title, or how long will you wait to get it?
We have to talk about it like individually, but there is a possibility that during the language class you will get your title and then that will be enough. But we need your title at the end of the language class. Without that, so the probability for that one is too low, then maybe we'll start the next class. But it must not be, you must be finished with your studies, everything, and the last social service, whatever. So you must be available, but we can wait for your title another 6 months. There was something else?
Once that we arrive there, well, I want to know if you're gonna help us like to look for an apartment, or sorry, I was
Absolutely. So it is very difficult to find an apartment being in Mexico, to find an apartment in Germany. So this will all be set up, so they will be fully equipped with a kitchenette, whatever. So you can start a life from day one. And typically what happens is that after some month, the nurses decide, I have new friends and we want to find another apartment that's better suited for us. And then they move out and look for another place to live together. That's the typical way. But there will be something from day one, so there is actually no need to worry. More questions? Please. Typically after 2 years of working in a hospital in Germany, you can start a specialization. Some did it even earlier, but that depends on the hospital. And then the system of specialization in Germany is as followed. Normally, the hospital pays for your specialization, which is pretty expensive. And then you continue to work during the period of specialization. So you will work a little less and then have classes in the afternoon and on Saturday. And typically the specialization would last for 2 years. And after the 2 years, you would then continue to work as a specialized nurse in the hospital. And then the hospital would ask you to stay for another 2 years because they paid for the specialization. And then there are many areas for specialization. So feel free to do whatever you're interested in.
I have a question. Actually, I have a friend that she's doing medicine, and she couldn't stay here, but she offers programs for nurses. And the question that she has is that you have
There are options also for doctors, but it's a little more complicated. So it's not language level B2, it's language level C1, so it's a longer process. But yes, there are options, especially when they have some practical experience. So it's actually difficult to start from zero in Germany as a doctor. But yes, there are options. More questions, please. So, just to talk about what is important. So we need you to have your bachelor's degree ready. We do not need necessarily years of practical experience. It would make it easier, but it's not necessary. So once you have your title, you can apply. And then there is a second thing we haven't talked about yet. We need you to speak one other language than Spanish. Not perfectly, but a little bit. And the reason for that is this program where you do all day nothing but learning German is very intense. And it will only work if you do know the principles of what a foreign language is. And if German would be the first foreign language, no English at all, no other language at all, then you will not be able to follow the classes at that speed. So, we don't require a language certificate, nothing, but the interview we will have will not be in Spanish. It will be in another language than Spanish. So if you're fluent in Chinese, we can do the interview in Chinese. In Italian or whatever language you want to speak, if it's not too exotic. But it will not be Spanish. And so the level needed is not perfect English, but just some language knowledge, some capacities that we can have an easy and light conversation. That's all we need. Second thing, and the third thing, and that's also very important, you need to want it. You need to feel ready to leave your mom, your dad, your friends alone. The dogs, the cats, alone, and you will not see them for some month. Because you cannot just fly over for the weekend and spend some days at home. It's about 10,000 kilometers. It's a long flight and it's actually not cheap. So you cannot do it every weekend. So that's very important. You need to want it and you need to feel ready to go for another step in your life where you are a little bit alone if you come to Germany. The weather is different. In summer we have very long days, 16, 17 hours of sunlight. In winter not. We have 6 hours of sunlight, so it's actually not sunlight, daylight. So it's pretty dark. It's not easy if you are first time in a German winter. The good news is it is cold outside, but it's warm inside. So it's always, like in Mexico, it's cold inside and warm outside. In Germany, it's the opposite. So if you go inside, you can take your jacket off and you can relax because it's always heated in winter, not in summer. But outside, it's cold and there is not a lot of light in winter. So the seasons are very different. That's just important to know. The food is different, the people are friendly, the traffic is a lot easier than in the big cities. In Mexico, the public transport is very developed. A lot of people are using bikes, and it is boringly safe. So it's no security issues. Nobody will take away your mobile phone. If you are interested to work in surgery and see gunshot wounds, don't come to Germany. We don't have it. There's just no level of violence. So there are some real differences between the countries. Okay. More questions?
Once you start to work, how many days per year you have of vacations?
Okay. Important question. We have talked about the working hours and the vacation. So you work, and then again, it's regulated, so there are no exceptions. You work 38.5 hours per week, 5 days out of 7. Typically in a 3-shift system, a morning shift, afternoon shift, night shift. And then, again, 5 days out of 7. It might also be a weekend day because the patients don't stop being ill on weekends. But then you will have a Monday or Tuesday or whatever day, weekday free off. You will have 6 weeks of paid vacation every year from day 1. That's a lot. So the salary continues, but you do not need to go to work. So enough time also to travel throughout Europe. That's what many young people do actually. And the big advantage is it's small, and you can take a train and be, for example, from Frankfurt, it takes you 4 hours to go to Paris, 3 hours to go to Amsterdam, 3 hours, 3.5 to go to Brussels. So it's all very small, and you can easily travel also for a weekend. Or you can go home. Whatever you want to do. Okay? So please, if you want more information, check our website, check Facebook and Instagram, where you can see a lot of what other candidates who now work in Germany, what they posted, what they are telling about working as a nurse in Germany. You will find lots of information. And if you want to send us your CV, check on our website or send it to the email address of Finn. And then we will contact you and talk about the next steps. And if you are really interested right now, we can even have an interview here, today, right now. More questions? So what we do is we care for those who will work as a nurse in Germany. There are options that you can bring your partner, but we will not help you doing that. So this would be in your responsibility then to bring your partner, and it is not a good idea to do that in the very beginning. We strongly recommend that the first one who is working is coming to Germany, is getting settled, and then also finds an apartment that would suit the both of you, and then it's a good moment to come to Germany. And, so that's a personal recommendation, there must be a plan for you to continue your career as well, because we don't want you to sit on the lap of your wife unhappily and waiting for the weather to be better. So it's a good idea to learn German and to bring the partner also to the situation to learn German, so that there is a career option for both of you. Again, we are looking for many skilled workers in different areas. Right now, the job situation is excellent in Germany, in many areas.
Por ejemplo, si yo estoy interesada en el hecho de llevar a mi hija, porque tengo una hija, y que comenzara a estar familiarizándose en ese sentido con las costumbres y demás, y con el lenguaje desde pequeña, tiene 2 años, ¿en qué momento del proceso yo podría ya como integrarla en el proyecto? O sea, para poder llevarla, aunque yo costeara los gastos.
Es lo mismo, ¿sí? O sea que nos hacemos cargo, o sea que para la persona que está dentro del programa, pero no para familiares. Por supuesto que se puede traer a la hija, al hijo, no hay problema. La ley alemana cubre ese caso, por supuesto. Pero lo que realmente es difícil en Alemania, y ahí volvemos al tema de los profesionales que se buscan, son los profesionales que cuidan a tus hijos, ¿sí? Así que la primera pregunta sería: ¿quién cuida a tu hija mientras que vos estés trabajando? ¿Sí? Todo se puede, pero realmente es un caso un poco más complicado.
Las clases son 100% online, si no encuentro los
Sí, ahora al menos calculamos los primeros 2 o 3 meses van a ser online, con después la posibilidad que vuelvan a ser presenciales, pero en dado caso que sean presenciales, sí las vamos a hacer aquí en México, porque son cursos que se forman únicamente para ustedes, entonces necesitamos cierta, digamos, masa crítica, ¿no?, para formar un curso. Si se da aquí en la ciudad de Guadalajara, lo haríamos acá, si no, siempre va a haber un curso también en la Ciudad de México.
Por ejemplo, si yo estoy interesada en el programa, pero yo voy en 7º semestre y me falta uno para terminar, me tendría que esperar a que haya otro, o sea, que empiece otro curso en 6 meses.
Así es, sí, quédate tranquila que ese programa lo hacemos cada 3-4 meses por año, o cada 3-4 meses empieza un nuevo curso, pero lo importante es que hayas terminado todos los estudios, ¿sí? O sea que el servicio social incluido, y cuando estén ya cerca de ese momento, ¿no?, ven que estoy terminando, ahí ya se pueden poner en contacto con nosotros. Te vamos ubicando, diciendo cuándo empieza el curso, cómo sería el proceso, y ahí empezamos con todo el proceso.
We have in Vietnam, for example, we started the program 7 years ago. We have now students who started at the university explicitly because there is a chance to go to Germany after 5 years of studies, and they are now in Germany. So we will continue. Okay? Everything is clear? Perfect. So in German I would say vielen Dank. Thank you so much for your attention and your interest. And we hope to see you soon in the language class and in German hospitals. Thanks a lot.
Hay los que quieren hacer una entrevista, ahora mismo se pueden acercar y lo vamos organizando. ¿Sí?